But Sean, it's transition in to talking about the NFL and the NFL playoffs. But before we do, I think the biggest news in the NFL world today, Mike Tomlin uh resigning, walking away, mutual parting of ways. I don't know how it's being talked about from the Pittsburgh Steelers after 19 seasons. 193, 114 and 2 in the regular season, 8 and 12 in the postseason, and haven't won a playoff game since was it since 2016, right?
Yeah, 2016. Since
Yeah,
2017, the Browns have more playoff wins than the Pittsburgh
so
Steelers.
there was a lot of noise around the Steelers, a lot of, you know, what's the future of him going to be? What's the future of Aaron Rodgers? But we don't need to talk about Sergeant Ayahuasca anymore at this point. But Sean, thoughts on Mike Tomlin stepping away?
I've seen some media going out on a real limb and saying that they think he may have been forced out. Like, no shit. Like a walk away doesn't happen in 24 hours, right? Like that would have been time to like let it sit and think about it. And how do I really feel?
Well, no shit.
Right? Like, I mean, come on. Like, no kidding, right? Like, this wasn't well, if we lose, I think I'll take a break from football for a while. Like, no. Like, one, he's way too competitive to just immediately be like, I'm not doing this, right? I think it's overdue. I mean, I've been on this podcast for a few years trying to defend the notion that the winning record is not something to hang a hat on, especially in a season with an odd number of games now. I just like you get an extra chance to not be 500. And I get it. You still have to win that one odd game. But like, I mean, is 9-8 or even before, like, 10-8, is that really better than 9-9, like, or 8-8? Like, I just don't. I don't know. None of these are great seasons. Like, I don't really understand, what all the love was. And I get it. The guy's a good. Obviously, if you're competitive every year and you're going to the playoffs, like, that's something. But in a country that likes to hang their hat on Super Bowl trophies, I think he was long overdue. And in a city like Philadelphia with traditionally a much shorter leash, I don't think he'd have made it near this close. Unfortunately, I have already read two. One was just like a tweet, and another was like potentially a story. I didn't click on the link because I don't trust that it's not like fake. But like that there's some people playing like, well, if this was a white coach, like, and I'm like, okay, look, let's be honest. Like, there's been a lot of white coaches on a lot of shorter leashes than this guy's been on, right? Like, I think the fact that
Marty Schottenheimer got fired after a 14-2 season,
right? And this is a long, drawn out, redundant process, and I think it has so much more to do with just kind of what we said with Harbaugh. Something's not working, right? Like, whether we're building the wrong team, we have the wrong mindset, it's in our heads, whatever the case is, we don't want to just keep getting here to not do anything, right? Like, that's not what Pittsburgh football is about, and that's pretty much it. So, I mean, I think it's a win for Pittsburgh. It's going to set them back, I think, a skosh, depending who comes in, but and you still got a QB situation, obviously. So,
well, yeah, I think.
But it's probably good for Tomlin in the long run too. If he ends up in a different spot, maybe gets a chance to prove that it wasn't just a fluke or like good ownership or whatever. Maybe that's good for him too.
I mean, here's the deal, man. Everybody I know everybody keeps bringing up the regular season record, and yeah, that's great. But you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, and as much as I hate it, you're the first franchise that ever got to 6 Super Bowls. Like, you're not a franchise that lives and breathes on just regular season success. You're not a franchise that lives and breathes on just making it to the playoffs. Like, you haven't been competitive in the AFC in a decade, man. You haven't been. It's been a decade since you made it to the AFC title game. And that was the only AFC title game you've made it to since the Super Bowl in 2010. It hasn't been successful. Stat today, the Steelers' last 5 playoff losses have all come by double digits. Guess how many teams in NFL history have that stat? The
How many
Pittsburgh
teams? How many
Steelers.
teams this weekend lost by double digits?
Right. But the
Them.
Steelers are the only team in NFL history to lose 5 straight playoff matchups by double digits. That's the wrong side of history, my man. And look, for as good as that 62% in the regular season over 17 years or 19 years, in 19 years you have a 40% winning percentage in the postseason. And you started 3-1, 5-2 in your first 3 playoff appearances. You went 5-2. Over the rest of them, you had 3 more wins. That's not playoff success. And I don't like. I'm not saying I've said for a while that it's probably overdue, and people have called me out on it. People have accused me of being crazy, whatever. The Steelers aren't a regular season success team. They're not.
Nope.
And they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Cowboy, and I say that frustratingly as a Cowboys fan. The Cowboys shouldn't be a team that's like, okay, cool, we won 10 games this year. No, you should be pissed. That's why I hate Jerry so much, because you should be pissed that it's been 30 years. You should be pissed that every team in the NFC has made it to the NFC title game since the last time you were there. I'm more mad that the Cowboys aren't mad. And as a Steelers fan, I know Steelers fans have been mad. Today is a happy day for them. So to my friends that are Steelers fans, congratulations. For those that don't get it, I guess you never will.
The no losing season thing, if it was like a bunch of great seasons and then your couple off years, you still managed to win that's one thing, right? You didn't have a tank season entirely. Right. But the fact that it's just consistently is he gonna do it? Is he he won? And he's like,
Devin in the comments here says he wants Tomlin to stay away from Miami. First off, Devin, you should not be saying that. If you're a fan of a team that's looking for a head coach, you should want Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, why not?
Looking in your direction.
At least, from a Dolphin standpoint, 500 every year looks pretty good.
Right. What do you I don't understand. It's never having a losing season. I don't know what you're mad about.
And Jason says he'll be a Giant quarterback. This is that's the perfect spot for him now that I think about it.
Jason says he'll be the Giants or Packers coach next year. He will not. In fact, the Packers are not moving on from Matt LaFleur. So they say, crazy as that may be. I don't think Mike Tomlin coaches next year. I think
he takes a year off.
Yeah, I think he takes a year off. Now, granted, if a team wants to open up a checkbook and write a blank check, certainly things can change. But
and that can happen. A couple big names go off the board, and you're down to another losing team's former coach. Mike,
hey, Mike. All right, but Sean, let's take a look at the playoff picture. We will certainly pick the games here in a minute, but we know the Packers, Eagles, Panthers, Steelers, Jags, and Chargers eliminated from the postseason. We have our final 8 teams that are left. Since we spent a lot of time talking about Mike Tomlin, what was your biggest takeaway from anything you saw this weekend?
Well, I've kind of talked about the Panthers and maybe everybody against the bad division winner getting to host a playoff game. I think you got a pretty good argument from them for as to why that team should probably just have a home game. And it doesn't actually, it didn't affect anything. The other team still won, but they got to put on a show, and they almost got themselves through to see what they could do. Big takeaway right now is, with the exception of maybe that Bills game, but that was just a slugfest, is that defense still wins in the playoffs. A lot of these teams that moved on did it with defense. I know the Rams were giving up a ton, but when push came to shove on a final drive, the defense stood tall. There's no huge surprises. Obviously, for me, the 49ers are. But the way it went down with an uninventive offense getting beaten by an offense that realized they were up against a insurmountable wall in a defense and were willing to get creative to find a way through it or past it. They kind of they drew up some exciting plays and some plays that make the defense change what they're doing and don't let the game plan come into play. And the Eagles just have been unable to do that all year.
Yeah.
And that's rather disappointing. I mean, that would be a takeaway from that game is like, yeah, Niners came in, they won. I don't, and Jason's going to think it's just me being a homer or whatever. I don't know that.
Good for you.
I'm not going to say the 49ers did nothing to win that game. I mean, obviously that defense was I mean, McCaffrey was non-existent for almost 3 full quarters. And they had to find a way to get him the ball, and they figured it out, right? They said, we got to get our best player the ball. If you'd have told me that George Kittle was going to be out of a game before halftime and we were still going to lose, I'd have probably laughed at you. But, it's one where, you're hearing the officiating being brought up, and I do think it was lopsided for a team with backups playing in both sides of the ball to have no real penalties for 4 quarters seems very unlikely.
I mean, I will say this again. I didn't watch the game, but statistically speaking, the 49ers are the lowest penalized team.
Yes, and
in the National Football League. The Eagles are one of the most.
Right.
So
because everyone hates us, obviously.
Of course, that's how.
Just flags come out. But there were some big ones. The Eagles trying to get out of it. Some first downs, had 3 or 4 of those called back on a penalty at crucial moments, and some of them were a little more ticky-tack than others. And so for me to be like, okay, well, that was not a very obvious penalty. You can't tell me there weren't any on the other side. So, but that's clearly not the reason we lost the game. So,
right.
But now they get a chance to prove whether they are better than the winner of the NFC West, and that should at least be a fun one. I think you get a bunch of pretty fun matchups here in the second round.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me when you look at both sides of this bracket so far is, for the most part, I think we still don't know a lot.
No,
the Patriots won a game, not taking anything away from them, but that was a broken Chargers team.
They did their attempt to continue breaking it.
They did. Jesus,
that was a lot.
The fact that Justin Herbert was able to walk into the post game press conference.
God, like that's your guy.
Like, yeah, man. Well, the offensive coordinator and offensive line coach fired today by the Chargers. So
I mean, it's like all I kept seeing was from Rocky, just throw in the towel, like just
awful.
He said not to,
But like, the Bills, the Bills stepped up in a big moment. The Texans beat a team that was basically listless and has the dying breaths of a broken old man at quarterback. The Bears, they've done what they've done all year. They're the cardiac kids. You can't count them out of a game. The Rams woke up when they needed to, but they beat a team that they should have beaten easily. And, the 49ers, they won a game against a team who's had problems all year. Like, so I don't think we know a lot differently than we knew going in. That's my biggest takeaway. And yeah, to your point about like the Eagles Niners game, I think it was as much about what the Eagles haven't been all year than what the Niners are.
Right.
And especially without George Kittle. Spoiler alert, Jason's not going to like my prediction for Saturday. But yeah, I just, when you look at this field and you look at where we are, I feel like it's a lot of what we've known and we do know, and I don't think there was a lot to learn from opening weekend. And
Jimmy mentioned the Bears game, and I didn't really go into it because I spent a little extra time on my team, but I had a few things I wanted to say, and I didn't even say all of them. I held back. But in your honest opinion, I'm not going to say the Bears did nothing to win that game. Obviously, you have to get creative. You have to make plays in a very hard weather, cold weather game. It's not an easy thing to do. Do you feel like the end result of that game has more to do with the Bears sticking to it or the Packers just deflating mid-game?
I think it's a little of both. I mean, we've seen the Bears do this all year. Struggle in the first half, make adjustments at half with coaching. The adults are in the room now, and um and you come out and win a game. But we've also seen the Packers do this most of the year, where they get out early and they're undisciplined. And
that third quarter was embarrassing. I think like it's one thing if you never get it going, right? Chargers didn't have anything they could do, right? Like they, and even the Steelers, they hung in as much as they could with their defense, but like they couldn't do anything offensively. The Packers were. They got their starters back. You got a healthy. Josh Jacobs looked as good in this game as he has all year. He looked fast. He looked quick. And like in the third quarter, the play calling went very, what's the word? Philadelphia. It went very Philadelphia. It was very boring plays. It was
very
like,
Petulin.
let's do this in chunks. Let's go for 10 yards. And there was no semblance of attack. And I get it, defensive schemes adjust, but like this isn't your first day in the NFL. Like you also can adjust, right? And I thought that was pretty embarrassing. So I'm not going to say I thought it was the other way, where it is a bit of both. I thought it said more to me about the collapse of Green Bay than the rise of Chicago.
It's certainly a part.
But man, they came to it, man.
I'm not absolving Green Bay from the collapse, and it's why I'm shocked that not only are they keeping LaFleur,
right?
It sounds like, but they're like doubling down and extending him.
And it's a bigger deal because you are on the road against a divisional opponent, right? Like, so this is it's not just some, it's not like San Francisco way ahead and like letting their foot off the gas. You don't want to let a Philly crowd back in it if that's how that game would have gone. In Green Bay, Chicago, I mean, these fans hate each other. Like, so you in 2 quarters silenced every Chicago Bears fan in the world. They were not saying anything, right? And so to have completely silenced the Chicago faithful for 2 quarters, only to just go boring and kind of just go into like autopilot and watch them start tearing and then try to get it back was insane, because now you're in a hostile environment and you could have just won this game in a bubble. But speaking of bubbles, I see another head on the screen.
EJ crashing through the wall.
There he is.
Safely.
What's going on, man?
We're in a seatbelt. No, I got my stuff done early tonight, so I was able to come and jump on with you guys a little bit.
Very nice.
Hi, Sean. Happy New Year, Sean.
Happy New Year, EJ.
Do you need a hug?
I could use one, but fortunately, you're not here, so I don't trust your hugs, EJ.
Well, at least Patulo's gone, right?
But much
that's
like
my hug.
But much like with what I said in our huddle up group chat last night, like I wasn't encouraging the Steelers to get rid of Tomlin, because I was like, look, if they want to keep bringing him back and keep not winning the Super Bowl, like I'm fine with that. I'm fine if Green Bay wants to keep bringing LaFleur back and making poor decisions in the postseason.
If you guys want to keep wasting a playoff spot,
like I'm great with that. Like the more the Packers lose, the better I feel in life. Like, so that's kind of a general rule.
There you go.
EJ, real quick before we get into the predictions, what was your biggest takeaway from the opening round?
Oh, fun. I mean, outside of last night's game, and I'll even say the Chargers game was good to the middle of the fourth quarter. It was so competitive. At least for the first time in many years, we actually had a walkout weekend that was very exciting. Most of these games went down to the wire. We almost had upsets. That Carolina game and against the Rams was certainly shocking, to say the least, the results in the way it played out. So if anything, the playoffs showed, it really magnified what kind of season we had this year. The fact that we've been saying all year long, it's a wide open season. The parity's humongous right now. And the playoffs showed that, because even teams that had no business being in the playoffs, like the Carolina Panthers, was literally a minute from winning that first round game. So yeah, that's what's taking with me. Nothing else.
Yeah, well, all 3 NFC games could have been either team could have had chances to win all 3 games, and with the exception of I don't think the Steelers ever I don't think they showed me any chance. They didn't have a chance to win that game, and obviously the Chargers were just getting eaten alive out there. But that Bills Jaguars game, man, that was the same thing. So yeah, we talked about that in the opening segment, that the best of the week was the product and what the viewers got. I thought that was the best of the week.
Absolutely. And the NFL is king. I mean, again, you see why this weekend. And I expect, honestly, divisional weekend more of the same.